Hey, what's going on, guys? Tony here from Throwdown, and this is the episode we didn't really want to be recording, man, but you know, shit happens. So we put my stupid face up there. So as you could see from the title right here, our beautiful, beautiful friend Rachel is gone, taken from us. She lost her fight with cancer, and what we want to do with this episode is not really so much more, just celebrate her life. It's like she was a big part of Throwdown, big part of our lives. So we want to, I guess, give her like a. It's funny. I was thinking about this, like in my head the whole day. I was just like, I want to give this girl like a Viking funeral, because that's the way I always saw her, like a warrior. So right here, just quick introductions. We got Manny here.
Hey guys.
Rich.
How's it going?
Riku's son.
What's good?
Chris.
What's up, everyone?
And Carlos.
Yo, what's up, guys?
All right, we may be joined by Charles later on, maybe Colby. Brett obviously can't be here. Here's the thing: as much pain as we're feeling, this man is like, I can't even imagine that shit.
Yeah, definitely.
It's crazy. But before we get into it, actually no, let's get into it. I want to give a quick rundown of how we met her, because it's a very interesting story. And remember, we have a lot of new viewers and listeners and stuff they may not know, right? So I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, right, when God of War Ascension came out. There was a big controversy about that trophy. Was it Bros versus Hoes?
Yeah, Bros versus Hoes.
Yeah, it was some nonsense like that, right? So Adam Sessler, he goes on, going on this tirade saying, "Oh, this is like nonsense. They need to change it." And the studios, Santa Monica, did change it, but there was this one person, because everybody was going at Adam Sessler, right? There was this one person he was actually going back and forth with. This person called Geek Brat, right? I'm like, who the fuck is that? Because they were like going toe to toe, right? And I look at the profile, I'm like, oh, it's a chick. And then I looked at all this other shit. She was like, yo, she keeps it real. She's talking about like all this crazy stuff, even masturbating. I'm like, yo, this chick is crazy. So I sent her over to Torrance. I'm like, yo, Torrance, check this chick out, man. She's fucking nuts. So Torrance and I, like we start just replying to her and stuff, telling her like, yeah, keep on the good fight, man. Fuck Adam Sessler, And then she noticed, because remember at that point at SC Free Play, like all the main guys had profile pictures, right? So she was like, hold on, these two guys have the same looking picture. What's going on here? So she does her little studying and stuff, finds out about SCF Play, and then like maybe a week or two afterwards, she hit me up, on a private message on Twitter. It's like, hey, I see that you guys write for this video game site. I was thinking about getting into the industry too. Do you have any openings? I'm like, yeah, that's the play. We're always looking for people. Like, sure, just send me a sample of what you got, So she sends me like just a story she wrote about, because she was a big fan of Community, right? So basically, like the 4th season of that series was kind of fucked up or something. So she just wrote about how disappointing she was, because she went to San Diego Comic-Con and was at a panel and stuff. And I'm reading this. I'm like, damn, this shit is too good. Like, I sent it over to Torrance. I'm like, yo, Torrance, man, like, this girl makes us look like we're writing with crayons, son. Like, it was crazy, So, we're like, yeah, come on board. And then the first thing she wrote was this thing. It was like, white knights sit down and eat a Snickers, just putting white knights in their place and stuff. Like, okay, this chick is pretty badass, And then after that, the first podcast we ever did with Rachel, very, a lot of people don't know this, it was not Throwdown.
Yep.
It was actually Spoiler Cast.
Yes.
It was me, her, and Riku. We were talking about Game of Thrones, right? It was a pretty cool episode, because even though she wasn't exactly nervous or anything, you could tell she wasn't seasoned, with the podcastery, right? And then we had her on Throwdown. It was like episode 33 or something, and not long after that, like maybe around the 40s episodes, she decided like, hey, can I just, because at that point we were just MP3s, like, can I do the MP3 editing and stuff? I could do some cool shit, and Manny and I were blown away. She was adding all this other shit,
Like,
okay,
she literally would add like sound effects, like little joke things in there, like little bits of like clips from like different movies and stuff like that. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, so and then that happened, and she kept that up for a long time, like because there was a point where I left the show, and then when she unfortunately got diagnosed with cancer, she still kept at it.
She still kept doing it. Even when she wasn't feeling so well. I mean, whatever, the show came a little bit late. It didn't even matter. I mean, she always did an amazing job, and she was like especially when I was hosting the show, she was always like in there, like, hey, maybe we should talk about this, or maybe we should talk about that. She was part of the reason why at that point I added the text section, because I felt like, we all have all kinds of different interests, so why not hit that as well? So I was like, yeah, she'd always throw these really great science-y things in there. It was always, we didn't like talk like always all the time, but she always knew what, always would throw things by me and stuff, and I'm like, this is awesome, this is great. She was like even with you, she was like my right-hand man or woman when we were doing the show.
I don't know. I think the right-hand man thing might be a little applicable to Rachel because she had bigger balls than all of us combined.
Oh yeah. Man. I mean, here's the thing. Like, even now, even though she's she passed away, I'm sure if anybody started friggin' like getting emotional, she'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing? Grow some balls, you asshole."
Yeah.
If she saw us right now crying, she would be like, "You guys are fucking pussies."
Yeah, you guys are fucking pussies.
Yeah, obviously, I'm not a person that believes in the afterlife or anything, but if she's seen this, I do want to slightly apologize because I am kind of bending her will here, because I know for a fact she wouldn't want us to interrupt regular Throwdown with commemorating her, so we did this instead. Sorry, Rachel.
Sorry, Rachel.
Gotcha, but yeah, and then she kept going and stuff, and then she did a couple of the new Throwdown episodes too. She did a couple of those, but then she was very real, and then she couldn't do it anymore.
Let me add. She is also the one that set up our SoundCloud. Like, me and her set up that SoundCloud, and she's also the one that hired Sean Daly to do our intro on the sound version of our podcast.
Yeah, I mean that's all because of her,
That's all because of her. She went out there and it's like, hey, this guy's really cool. He's got really cool stuff. And she just went and took the initiative, and that's it. That's what we have.
Yeah, man. And then that's a quick little history of her. So right now, I just want to share some Rachel stories. I'm pretty sure we got plenty of them. When I was thinking about it, by the way, I'll bring this up later because I was talking to Tatiana. She's very upset. She wanted to be on tonight, but she's just too distraught. Doesn't want to talk, but we were just sharing these similar stories. Like, I remember one time I was beefing about some bullshit that was happening on N4G, right? I was like just livid, pissed off. On N4G, they're always full of shit.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just going off about N4G, and it's on Skype, we're typing, right? And Rachel replies with LOL, shut the fuck up. Yo, and that snapped me out of it. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, she's right. I'm being really dumb right now, So that was pretty funny, in a
lot of ways, you and Rachel had very similar similar personalities, just very straight to the point, balls to the wall, sort of stuff.
Speaking of that, I wanna say my little story because.
Yeah, Riku, could you get a little louder too, man?
Is that better?
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, I want to segue into that about the straightforward bluntness.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Prowess of Rachael Murdock. Man, that's definitely something I learned from her when it came to I don't know, from a personality standpoint trait. It just seems like a great trait to have. Man, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna jump straight into it, man.
Keep it real.
The hip hop gamer, man. That will always be my favorite memory of her because it's just in a nutshell, Rachel. It was just. She just came out and she was just like she told hip hop exactly how she felt. She didn't give a fuck. She was like, "Can someone please quote word for word because I don't remember it 100% word for word."
Didn't she call him a punk bitch or something? Like,
yes.
She was like, "Stop being a pussy punk bitch" or something. I remember I was driving my car to I was driving to class. I almost crashed my car when I heard that shit. I was swerved off the street. Oh, it was so blunt and great. And hip hop. He was like, what was his response? I think Brett was there, and he's like, Brett, get your girl, man. Get your girl. But he knew it was all. I don't think was that his first time talking to Rachel.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
So he was. I think even hip hop at the time was like he was surprised by, how straightforward she was, because I think up to that point Rachel just heard of hip hop. She never actually talked with him.
Mm-hmm.
So that when that all went down, she was just like, you know what? Fuck this dude. Stop being a pussy and playing on easy mode and all this other shit. And I was just like, honestly, someone get me that motherfucking episode. I'm gonna play that shit tomorrow in the car.
I'll find it for you, man.
I need that episode in my life. I need to re-listen to that shit. It was just great. But speaking, just bringing up, the straightforwardness about her. I've been really straightforward with a lot of people lately, and when I look back on myself, I used to be, I used to hold my tongue on a lot of things just because I didn't want to hurt this person's feelings, or I didn't want this to seem awkward, But now it's just like, if you don't tell them these things, you're not being real with someone. Yeah, it might hurt their feelings, but it's not like it's gonna kill them. It's just words. If they're mature enough and they understand that you're being honest, go ahead and be blunt. In my opinion, as long as you ain't saying some like outrageous racist shit, like I'm not gonna give any examples.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, no, you're right about that, and that's a good lesson to take away from her. It's like, all right, just be honest. If people can't handle it, it's like, okay, too bad. I didn't hurt you physically. Stop it.
I didn't beat your ass. I just verbally beat your ass, and now stand up and move on with your life, man. Like I love that about her, and it just I definitely respect her, man. Man, when I got that news today, I didn't know how much it was gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Mr. Brian who's joining us on this special occasion. Brian, man, how you doing, Brian?
I'm doing okay given the situation, to be fair.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Shit. But Brian, share some stories, man.
Oh man. Just where to start? That's the question.
Yeah, I'm having that problem too. It's like there's so many,
Mm-hmm.
I guess the one that sticks out most is there's one time that I was off, and then you guys, okay, you know how like you guys just take like the mic whenever I'm not there. It's like, oh, Brian's off doing great stuff, and then like she said something like Brian's off like driving his crappy rally Subaru car, and I remember that when she said that, I was like, hold on, what the fuck? and then ever since that time, right, I was saying to myself, I'm gonna get on GTA and then I'll run over with that car at one day. And ever since then, I've just been like, okay, I'll just catch online at some point. But of course, things happened, and it's just I never did. And it's like, oh man, what the fuck? And then the whole point, not the whole point, there was that whole time when we were playing GTA 5, and she never put on like any pants, and that always just used to like annoy the hell out of me because I'm like, just put on pants, woman. It's not that hard. I'd even like just join in to her like her Twitch streams and then just tell her to constantly just put on pants and just like annoy her like that. But no, but yeah, that was just like the small things. But like in general, I'm pretty sure that you guys have covered like all the big things like about her, like how honest she was and how brutally honest she was, and how she like just go off on rants like Brett, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's why it's so refreshing too in a world that's just becoming so soft. To hear somebody just speaking like that.
We're losing people like her, man. It fucking sucks. That's why, like I said, a part of me feels like, definitely in honor of her, I definitely have to, better myself and become more like her, honestly.
Yeah, exactly, man. Going back to something Manny said, because here's the thing with Rachel, it's interesting. Like, for example, me and Manny, we've been friends for years, right? It took us a long time to get that understanding, right? Mm-hmm. With Rachel and I, it was literally a month. Like, it was just scary how much like me she was and how much like her I was, So it was pretty cool just to talk to somebody. Like, sometimes it wouldn't even be like full sentence, like, okay, I get it, Mm-hmm. So that was pretty cool. And again, with her, I didn't need to wash my fucking mouth. Just say whatever was on my mind. She get it,
For me, like even in general, I'm I talk a lot on here, but I'm also in real life I'm pretty quiet, a lot of times, and it's just a lot just to say certain things. But especially with somebody like Rachel, where what you see is what you get. She really won't hide anything from you. She won't, she'll tell you to get the fuck up. She'll do that sort of stuff because that's just the way she was.
Yeah. Chris, man, get in here, man. Any good stories you got?
Well, I mean, you guys knew Rachel longer than I did. When I came on the show, she was already there. But I remember Brett and her came to New York.
Yeah.
We all went to Valentino's together and we talked, and that's when I first got to really talk to them. But I mean, like Brian, I would play them in GTA 5, and when we were on opposite teams, we used to do the team deathmatch. And she would just whoop my ass constantly, like just destroy me, and then just berate me. Like it was like it's like you get knocked down a peg, and then you appreciate like not only is she strong, she was very good at gaming, right? Like
yes.
I'm no slouch. Like I played Halo multiplayer for years, and yet I was like a 12-year-old playing GTA. Like she's just owning me. And it was hilarious. Like she used to just make fun of me too, and I was like, "Oh, I feel bad now."
Yeah, I used to like playing her too and I would always throw it in her face because every time like she would beat me and stuff, right? Like she just get really vicious about it, right? So every time I would start fuck her up, she'd go, like I would just enjoy it, just being honest, like I'm gonna single this bitch out, I'm gonna fuck her up. So yeah, playing her. Yeah, we played a lot of GTA back in the day, man. That was good times, We never got around to playing Heist because they just took so long to come out.
I never got to actually play any video games with her. It's funny, like it was only till like maybe a year or two ago that it was a few years ago that she actually added me on the list. The other thing is that I never had any games that we could play together because me and multiplayer.
Yeah, exactly.
I did play Heist with her, but we'd always not have enough people. It'd be Brett, me, her, and then random guy.
Oh, shit.
And it's always some kid that would screw up the heist, like just do some random shit or kill the wrong guy, and we could never get a good crew going at the same time.
Yeah, that's always the problem with Heist, It's like you can never find enough people. But yeah, I never got around to playing. But again, I was just always used to. She always picked the weirdest looking characters, man. I swear, But you're always like, yo, put some pants on. What are you doing?
Hey, it's no pants o'clock. Don't worry about it.
What's with the cat mask and stuff?
It's definitely like her persona into the character. Because when you think about when you're home alone, you're like, oh yeah, time to take my pants off. Because you know what? Nobody's here and I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
She has her character out in the open, doing whatever the fuck she wants with no pants. That's just in a nutshell, that's her right there,
Yeah, for sure. All right, I want to quickly read what Tatiana wrote. Very, very good stuff here. So she goes, Rachel was always there for me, whether it was about weed, good hugs, cats, or general bullshit. If I was ever anxious, she'd know just the right things to say to me to calm me down. If I was ashamed of smoking marijuana for medical reasons, which I was for a very long time, she helped me embrace it. She'd help me understand a whole world of medicine. She was a part of the big Throwdown birthday shout out for my 23rd birthday. If I recall correctly, y'all sang happy birthday and talked about me for a few minutes. Yes, we did, Tatiana.
We did.
She made me feel loved like family, and Rachel never judged. She never turned the other cheek for me or her other friends. She was always there. I'm going to miss her. Shit, I already miss her. Thanks to her, I have more confidence in myself and I stand up for my opinions and shit I believe in. She was so brutal in the best way and so fucking real. She'll live through us forever. When we curl up and try to hide from the world and our problems, it'll be her voice in the back of our heads telling us to get the fuck back up and face those fucking problems. I love you, Rachel. You are one of a kind. We're gonna get stoned and pet all the cats in the afterlife. Yep.
Very well said.
That was fantastic, man. Speaking about both of them, like because their exchanges on Twitter are always funny to me. And the one I remember is because Tatiana, she's very, very tall, right? Mm-hmm. And Rachel is short. So, like Tatiana's like, oh, when I meet you, I'm gonna give you the biggest hug. But Rachel's like, okay, that's gonna be weird, but it's gonna be like hugging my mom. I'm gonna call you Mom Tits. She figured Tatiana's tits would be like right on her head or something. Hilarious stuff. And yeah, you know, yeah, she stayed with me. Her and Brett, they stayed with me for like a good weekend for Comic-Con. That was cool, you know. Yeah, those guys smoke a lot of fucking weed. Holy shit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was insane. You know, well, Brett kind of does for medical purposes, and
Mhm.
you know, Rachel kind of does too, I guess. But yeah, there was a lot of weed smoking in this joint. So I would just look at them drinking beer.
So being it was in the projects, it didn't make much of a difference.
It didn't at all. It was just classier because I went to Navarro for it. You know, he had the white people weed. You know. Oh man, Carlos, man, you got any good stories?
Yeah, man, freaking, we did a spoiler cast for Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad together, and I remember like what Riku said about her just telling it how it is. I remember after like a really bad podcast, like everyone was dead, and I remember she was like, "Yo, bring up the fucking energy." Like she would just tell you straight up, and you're like, "Oh shit!" Like yeah, like, and then like the next podcast would get better. And I remember one time, it was like the season 3, like the season finale where like I think Tony and Brett and Colby couldn't make it. And it was just me and Rachel. And I remember it was like, we'll see how we can do it. And she's like, okay, so how should we do this? Should we start with this, go with this, and with this? And she's like, fuck it, let's just go into it. And like honestly, that's like one of the best shows we ever made. Like
nice
that finale, and I just remember like having a good time, like just discussing everything with her. She was like, she wasn't really known for being smart, but she was really smart. Like I just remember every time we talked about something, she was really well versed and she researched everything she talked about. Like, like even the stuff that she does on her Twitter, she discusses politics and stuff. She's like one of the best people to follow on Twitter. I just like, I don't know. It's just
I'm so glad that I still have her, or like.
Yo, Riku, bring up your voice, man.
Oh, sorry. I was saying I'm so glad I still have her followed as a friend on all of these stuff because I'm never deleting that.
Yeah.
Never. That's just definitely just like she will always hold a slot on all of my stuff right there. Like when it's time to remove people, guess who's not going anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
And she was never scared to, like to start something with someone talking bullshit, Like if it was like the whole feminist movement, the whole feminazis, she would go at it with everyone, and she would just like state her case and still be like a feminist, but not like one of those freaking feminazis that like just try to censor everything. She would like make her peace and like defend video games for like what they are and
definitely like the whole Gamergate thing. She went the fuck in. Like
yeah,
even when like everyone stopped, she was still going at it, like making sure this shit was, taken fucking care of. And even to the point where I was just like, oh my gosh, I think this is dragged on a bit. No, she did it just as enough, just enough.
Yeah, no, you're right about that because there was even one point where I told her, I'm like, like, are you really sure you want to be doing this, especially with, fighting the cancer too? You're still going to be worried about this stuff, but she felt very strongly about it, and the way she explained it, I'm like, okay, you know what, I get it because early on when it all started, because remember she had already been going off on feminists and white knights beforehand. Right?
Yeah.
She like, but here's the thing, I'm gonna be real. I didn't really know about feminism before that. Like to me, feminism was a bunch of chicks burning their bras in the street. I didn't know what the fuck that shit was. So she broke it down. I'm like, oh wow, that's kind of fucked up. Like you're kind of just treating men like shit, But but then she broke down like, okay, these are good feminists, these are bad feminists, right? It's like she was a good feminist, but she never consider herself that exactly. She considered herself egalitarian. She was really about equality for everybody, right? It's like it doesn't matter if you're a man, woman, nobody should get preferential treatment. Everybody should be treated equal, But she still was a feminist because she, looked out for women's rights and all that, right? So that was good. But she taught me the differences. I didn't even know the movement even existed, But I always respected that. Like she just went at it, like even because in the beginning. When the whole Gamergate thing, I was in it, but then when the movement turned and I didn't really know what it was anymore, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just back off. I don't know what the hell's going on. She kept at it, man. Exactly. Like, and she bucked that trend because the journalists spun it around where it was like, oh, it's about gamers being like misogynist. I'm like, she's a woman, dude. That's impossible for her to do that.
it's easy to look at what she talked about, what she said, and consider it hate. But once you go deep down into like what she was talking about and why she was talking about the things she did, like they had deeper meanings and like they all made sense.
It wasn't hate. It was passion.
Yo, hold on. I gotta tweet this. I gotta say this real quick. One of our fans here, the guy who actually does Isaac Manny. Remember we met him at E3.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So he does our intro. He did intro for the video. So he's digging up some of these tweets. So this is what she said to Adam Sessler. He goes, "Hey Adam Sessler, take your White Knight banner and shove it up your ass. We don't need you, and the girls that do should stick with Pokemon." Damn. Love that, man. But yeah, no, I again, that was like super respect. Like obviously, nobody here is fake. We all keep it honest, right? But not to the extent she did. We'll back off of it at one point.
Yeah, like we'll like at least for me, what I would do is just like I give it. I never do a punch in the face. I'll always give the benefit of the doubt of the person on the other side that they're a functioning person. So. But Rachel will just come in with like a friggin' like haymaker in your face and just be like, and what?
Yeah, and again, it's that point. It's like, damn, man, like I want to be like that, but I can't because because I'm not. I don't have the balls. I
appreciate that. She wasn't scared of anyone. Didn't she go in on Will Wheaton also?
Yeah. Will Wheaton, man. Here's the thing. I'm going to say this too. It may be fucked up to say this, but I'm just keeping it honest because Tatiana said the same thing too. We were kind of brought together, like in part because we loved the same things, right? We also hated the same things, and hate could bring people together. We will always go off on this Will Wheaton guy because we were both the same. We liked Wesley Crusher, right? We loved him, but we didn't like the real person. And with her, she worked this great like posts and stuff, like where she said she had a crush on him and stuff, and then to find out that he was this douchey little shit, like it just crushed her, It's hilarious, man. Rich, you want to get in here and say a couple words, man? You're muted, bro.
Mm-hmm. Sorry about that. Yeah, I just saw something popped up.
No problem.
So allow me to say this. I unfortunately didn't know her for that long, not as long as you guys have. I do feel bad about that, but I did meet her at a very important time because she was one of the people I spoke to besides you when you guys decided to bring the Throwdown over to the coalition.
That's right. Her and Manny were once I came to you.
Yes, we had a lot of great conversations on Skype.
Yeah.
I remember one in particular, where, again, as you guys said, the brutal honesty, but the great stuff that you need to hear, where she had looked at the site, because, our site has gone through a couple of revisions, and she looked at the lack of the bios that we had, which we do have now.
Yes.
And I remember her line specifically, because I'm actually looking at it right now. She said, you guys have a sausage fest. Dress those dicks up and put a bow on them.
Oh shit!
So, I thought, hey, she was right though, and after she also showed me, when you guys had the bios for Shut the Fuck Up and Play, she showed me that as an example. So of course I showed that to Dro, and Dro made his own version, but the shit is 20 times better than it has ever been. So. Yeah. That type of stuff we wouldn't have gotten because we wouldn't have gotten that type of feedback. To be honest,
she was definitely the producer. Like at least for me, I couldn't do too much talking because of my work. I was working full time in animation and stuff, and I trusted her to be able to talk and just be able to kind of get everything together. I know I know we don't get a lot of time to talk on Skype, but that was one of the things that I really appreciate her, where she really just took the reins on that side of things and just got things together. She is part of the reason why we're doing stuff on YouTube. She wanted to push for that. She pushed for the SoundCloud. She pushed for a lot of the things. In a lot of ways, it was just like a lot of what the Throwdown is the way it is currently is all because of her.
Yeah, back when I was like the latter half of SCF and Play, there was a lot of shit she helped me with on the back end. This is the part of her that we don't really talk about. She I don't know, it's weird because she obviously died from cancer, but she had this disease where she couldn't leave things be. Like if she saw a little bit of a problem, like she just had this compulsion to fix it, like in little ways and stuff. Like even the way we were recording the shows and stuff, like no, you should do it like this, you should do it like that, you should do it like that, And just like Carlos said, whenever she would think about it, she would go really deep into like the research and stuff, and just blow your mind with the stuff she was coming up with, So there's a lot of little things that people don't really take into consideration, for this show specifically that helped out. It's like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
She was an incredible muse, and like an incredible muse. Just being able to get right to the core of things and just be like, we should do this, or look at this, and I'll be like, wow, that is cool.
Yeah. And from my standpoint, it was easy because again, since we were thinking along the same wavelengths, I'm like, yep, that makes sense to me. Go for it. Or we'll get this done. So it definitely helped the show out on that end, man. Like I actually want to kind of go back to those old shows just to listen because the thing is, obviously I do throw out. I don't need to listen to this shit afterwards. I would listen to those shows she would do because like she would add all these crazy things,
Yeah.
By the way, I got another story real quick because I need to bring this up because I am going to put this man on blast again on Thursday.
Oh my God! Yes, that episode.
That was fantastic. So for episode 50, right? We had our boy Cesare, right? Shout out to Cesare. I was talking to him the other day. Cool motherfucker, So we had him as a special guest. And we also had another special guest on the first time we ever had a fan on Throwdown. This is the Throwdown, number 50, Mr. Damien, right? This dude, the whole time up to that point, he was talking so much shit on the comments, specifically towards Rachel. Like he had a problem with her. Again, Rachel was really blunt. So when Microsoft fucked up, she went in. Hardcore. She thought Microsoft was a terrible company, but she would always let it be known. So he, being the Microsoft Xbox fanboy that he is, he was very offended by this. And by the way, I know I shouldn't be throwing shade at somebody during, this, but whatever, man. Damien, you're full of shit. But anyway, so he comes on because he's like, I'm gonna call Rachel out. We're gonna go at it. This dude became a pussy on the show, man. He didn't say nothing. He was like, "Hi, Rachel, how you doing?" And Rachel was like, "What's up, Damien?" She was ready for it. My man was mad quiet. So I was like, "Yo, like they weren't even in the same room together, and just her presence, shut this man up. It was beautiful." So I remember that. Just the shutting down of Damien. Obviously, when we had Damien back on, he was just a blabbermouth and stuff. So that's good. I think I would take. I would say Rachel gave Damien a little bit of balls in that regard. Oh man. All right. What else? You guys got any other fun stories? Again, it's just so many to pick from.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, again, I'll definitely miss the random tweets I would get from her. Like she would always send me gifts and stuff, like just crazy shit or stories that, quite frankly, would get me pissed the fuck off. Just some outrageous shit. Like I haven't been getting those for a while now. So it's like, damn, I'm never gonna get those now. How fucked up is that? Yeah. I should say this though. You probably should have said it before, but I just want to, again, whatever. We just scattershot here. We did hear the news that this was going to happen last week, right? Yes. But again, with keeping with the spirit of Rachel, we're like, let's not tell the fans. That's why for the last couple episodes, you didn't hear us talking about. We had already known about this. We knew it was coming. Because what happened was, just to get into the grisly details, right? The cancer that was inside of her metastasized in her brain and her lungs and her liver. So when I heard that, man, like, Brett called me crying, obviously, and it fucked me up. Like I was in the middle of writing, like I couldn't do it, like I did it, but it was very hard, so I, at least had the opportunity to process it all over the weekend. So when I got the news today, I was like, fuck, all right. I was obviously angry, right? I don't know if you want to get into those reasons, but I don't think we should. I was okay with it, like at least she's not suffering anymore. But yeah, the way I heard it was like, since it went into her brain, she just started acting like differently and stuff. They took her into the hospital. They found out what was going on. And then this was Wednesday. And then by Friday, Thursday, she was already like unresponsive at all, right? But this is the reason I want to bring the story up. Just again, that warriorness, right? So they put her under hospice care. For you guys who don't know, hospice care is given to people that are just about to die, basically, right? I'm sorry for being blunt, but I'm just be honest, right? Yeah. So they put her under hospice care on Thursday. for like 3 days or 4 days straight, the nurse kept telling Brett she only has 24 hours to live. Only 24 hours to live. Every day for 4 days. I'm like, damn, she's fighting this shit even when she's not conscious. You know, like that's a warrior right there. You know, so even in death, like she just didn't go out, you know, like a punk bitch, like she called hip hop. You know,
Yeah.
so that's why I'm like, yeah, man, you know, give her that Viking funeral. Don't cry and shit. Just celebrate. You know, the life she had, man. That's a pretty powerful statement. But you know, I will say this again, not trying to get too fucked up here, but again, just with the spirit of Rachel, I'm keeping it real. I find it so fucked up that you have like child molesters and rapists and shit, right? Living to be 90, right? And you get her, she's 35, man, dying. It's like, come on, man, what kind of bullshit, fucked up world is that, you know? But you know, that's just how it is, man. It's all roll of dice, you know. But yeah, I don't know, man. Anything else you guys want to say?
Yeah, just our condolences to Brett, man.
Yeah,
I just feel for him. Like I just can't fathom what he's going through.
Man, I don't even know what to say to that, man. Like I said, the shit we're all feeling, put it all together, that's nothing, man. That's a drop in the ocean compared to what this man's feeling. This dude, you know, just to give a little story, right? And I heard this from Colby. I never heard. I mean, I knew about it, but I didn't really know about it. So basically, you know, because Colby, he's been friends with Brett as long as Manny and I have been friends, right? And Colby was telling me that Brett has gone out with a bunch of girls, right? And none of them were ever at his level. If you know Brett, you know exactly what that means. Brett is a very, you know, like educated type of dude. Like, it's funny because Brett, I don't even think he went to college, right? But he's smarter than all of us, you know? But so he's definitely on a whole other level, right? And these other chicks couldn't hang, you know? So when he found her, it was just like everything changed and stuff. And they got married. They've been married for years and stuff, you know? And you know, that lets you know right there how special she was. And I'm glad I said that because here's the thing: all of us in this room right now, right? You know, she held all of us in high regard, loved us and stuff. That's actually of honor because she didn't give that easily. You know, again, just being honest, Rachel was not a very social type of person, right? She wasn't exactly very kind to most people because, let's just be honest, most people are fucked up, right? So if you got into her house, that means you know you're a special person, you know, and that goes for everybody in here, you know. So I definitely felt I told her that a bunch of times, like, damn, like you let me in like that, that's pretty crazy, you know. But then again, I'm kind of the same way. Like I have many acquaintances, only a few true friends because that's just how it is, you know. She was the same way, so yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Feeling honored. I remember when I think it was just a month ago, or a little bit more than a month ago. She sent me a friend request on Facebook.
Yeah.
She did that to me too.
Yeah, and when I checked her Facebook, you know, it wasn't much there. There was one post, I can't remember word for word, but it was about not giving a. She doesn't really like to have a lot of, you know, friends on Facebook, and she's only adding the people she really, you know, cares about. And you know, I definitely felt honored when that friend request came through.
Yeah, definitely.
I liked her first post on Facebook. It's like, man, I hate Facebook. Fuck this place.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Yeah.
Like, she's like, but family wants me to do this, so I'm doing it. She only did it for family. Like, she hated Facebook with a passion, you know. She told me a bunch of horror stories about Facebook, you know. There was a bunch of crazy dudes trying to stalk her, you know. Yeah, man, shit. So I mean, personally, I think I've said, well, I really want to say, like, there's probably more, but I don't want to drag this on too much. But yeah, Rachel, like, you know, just thank you for being in all our lives. You know, that's all I could really say about that. I poured one out for you, but I'm not trying to get my desk all wet. You know?
You could pour it on your phone like what's his face, like the rapper. I forgot his name.
Oh man,
Lil Wayne.
Yeah, Lil Wayne. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I've said my piece. That's it. And I don't know if you guys want to say anything. Go ahead.
I think we could. I think we can leave it at there. I mean, I think we've gone through a lot of stuff. I mean, here's the thing, guys. You know, those of you who have listened to the show on SoundCloud, One thing, me and Tony talked about when we first heard that she was going to hospice care
Oh yes, thank you. Yeah.
was whether to keep her voice on the the views and opinions thing that pops up on our sound version. And Tony said, like, we're gonna keep it there. That's it, because we're not gonna pretend that she wasn't there. She'll always be there. So from as long as our podcast exists, Rachel will be at the beginning of every single episode.
Yeah, the MP3 version, obviously, you know.
Yep. Yes.
And maybe this version, we could actually get the money to do it.
Yes. Yes. If we could pull it together, if we could somehow figure out, get it all together, we could put our little intro on there and have her right up on the front there, telling you that we say some fucked up shit.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, that wasn't even like a question. I'm like, nope. That's staying forever. That little intro, the views and opinions, but I'm like, nope, that is staying forever. Like, that is how we keep her alive,
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. That's all I want to say is just, thank you guys for joining us tonight. There's a bunch of you in the comments right now giving some nice stories about Rachel, which I really appreciate, So yeah, just, just keep the love coming, man. I'm pretty sure she would appreciate all this,
Can I just jump in like really quickly?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll just always dismiss a random post on Twitter, like just post like a random thing of Imgo, like some random cat scene, like just falling over, or like that, or like those boop ones that she's like love just doing. It's like, it's always like the small things. 'Cause, like I'd just be there on like the way to work, just having like a bad day, and then I'd see that and think, okay, you know what, the world is like it can't be that bad, when the people that are this cool just out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely will remember her because of that. And also, I also wanted to ask, because I never knew her that well, but what was her favorite color? In case any of you guys knew.
Purple, I believe.
Purple.
She always had purple stuff,
Okay, because I'm just thinking to myself, what's the best way that we can forever just remember her? And there's a game out there that's very colorful where you can name things. So I say that you guys go out there, you find a purple planet on No Man's Sky, and name it after her. Because I think that's the best way to remember her, if that's possible.
That's pretty beautiful. Yeah, I would definitely. Yeah, if you're still playing No Man's Sky,
there has to be someone out there. I am pretty sure that there is.
Yeah, name a couple of solar systems after her, please. Or just keeping with the purple thing. Go buy Saints Row, any Saints Row game, right? Because not only is that the game up her alley, but the main color was purple. Yeah, I like that, Brian. Yeah, please do that. Hell, if you play any game where you can name planets or anything, yeah, please just name it after her. That'd be fantastic.
I'll say this. I wish I had been on the show earlier. Obviously, I couldn't do Throwdown at the time when she was on regularly because I was working at Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had done a gaming podcast, I would have been fired.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do the show. So I accept, and I now you realize that. That you don't know how, with time, you realize, like, you think you have all the time in the world, and that's just not the case sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And she will be missed. And I'll say, like, if you have a chance to do anything or pursue anything, like, do it, or creative or playing with your friends, make the time.
Yeah, I mean, well said, man. You know what? Go ahead, Rich. I was just about to go to you. Actually, any final words, man?
Yeah, I was going to say what Chris just said. I agree with 100%. But I'm also going to say this: if you have people that you care about, try to keep in contact with them. Because I know that I'm guilty of this. I don't necessarily keep in contact with my family as much as I should. But anyone that is watching this, if you do know people that you're curious how they're doing, maybe give them a call. Because I know I wasn't able to really talk to her because when I did talk to her, that was when things started getting bad. She wasn't really on Skype as much. She's always been on Twitter. But the communication is definitely something I think everybody should work on if they think it's an issue where they're not being in contact with people. But that's all I was going to add.
Yeah, no, you're right about that because I mean, I'm super guilty of that. I just lose touch with people and stuff, and You know, there's people in your life that you really feel are very, very close to you. Yeah, try to keep in contact, even once a week. You know, that it's not that hard. Send a text. You know what I'm saying? It's not like before where it's like, okay, I don't want to talk to this person because they get me stuck on the phone for an hour. You know, just send a quick text or something. You know, how you doing, man? What's up? You know, just to see if they're still around. Because you're right, anything can happen. You could get cancer. You get hit by a fucking bus. Anything, man. You know, so yeah, definitely, man. Riku, you have any final words, dude?
Like I said, I'm just going to take that trait and start using it a lot more often. But it seems that just like what Manny said earlier, it seems that when it comes to that honest, blunt trait, I only seem to only do that across the internet, and that's only recent. Like I wasn't like that. I don't know if you guys remember me.
Nah, I remember old school Riku, man. You was quiet and shit, you know.
Yeah, I was recently I started to be, blunt, hold my opinion, and say what I believe. I need to start doing that IRL,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I need to say. I need to be more like her.
Definitely, man. We all could be more like her, you know. Carlos, man, any words?
Yeah, just we'll miss you, Rachel, and like I echo all the sentiments everyone else mentioned, and fuck cancer, man. It just fucking sucks.
Shit.
Fuck cancer.
Fuck.
Fuck cancer and fuck any person out there that apparently you know how there are conspiracies out there. Oh yeah, they found the cure for cancer. They're just they're not giving it to the public because we chemotherapy just makes them so much money. If that's true, fuck the society for that.
Yeah.
But just in case that is the case, fuck them for that, because Rachel will still be here if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna get too into it, but because obviously, Rachel always preached about freedom of speech and all that, so I'm not gonna tell people not to do this. But if you're gonna make a cancer joke, please just think it twice, man, because it's funny. I'm gonna tie it all back together because there's a movement now called feminism is cancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
The goal behind it, Rachel would agree with. The name, she was like, "What are you guys doing? You can't be making this like a trifle thing, And I agree. It's like if you're gonna make if you're gonna before you make a cancer joke, think it over again. I'm not gonna tell you what to do, what to say, because I would be wrong. But just think it over, man, because you never know who in your family's gonna get it.
Mm-hmm.
It could be anybody. It could be you. So don't go making dumb jokes before some shit happens that you can't take back. All right. So that's pretty much it. Anybody else want to give any last words here? All right.
No, I think we're okay.
All right, Rachel. We will miss you, and you'll always be with us right here. All right, guys. So thank you for joining us tonight. We'll be back with a regularly scheduled Throwdown this Thursday. We will be talking a lot of shit as always. All right. That's it. I don't want to give a big fancy outro, so I'm just gonna say we'll see you guys later and stay safe.
Peace out.
Later, guys.
Later, people.